Today we're going to talk about the Phenyx Pro PDP-M portable stereo wireless in-ear monitor system. Stereo. So today we're looking at a brand new wireless in-ear monitor system from Phenyx Pro. This is a budget-friendly option for those that don't want to spend $1,000 on an in-ear monitor system. And in a lot of situations, you don't need to spend $1,000 on a monitor system. Now, Phenyx Pro did send me this system to review. However, they don't have any input on what I say. So if I don't think it's worth it, then I'm going to tell you that. Because I'm mean and nasty. I just like giving you guys options. Then you can decide if it has the features you need. But considering the price point, I gotta say, this little system has a lot of features. Speaking of price, it currently has a retail price of $200. I'll leave a link below, and if you use that link, it'll save you 15%. However, I don't know how long that's going to last, and I also don't know when you're watching this video. So if that deal expires, don't say mean things about me. It might make me cry, and you know how sensitive I am. So let's take a look inside the box. Alright, so we get a nice little bag, a Phenyx Pro sticker, the manual. I'm all about reading the manual. This is actually really nice packaging. So we have a 1/4 inch to XLR adapter, and our body pack receiver. And we have a portable transmitter and a charging cable. And this is Type C, by the way. And a 3.5 stereo male to XLR female adapter. You'll need this cable to have a stereo mix. And finally, a set of earbuds. And since we have the box, let's flip it over and grab a snapshot of the back. That way all of you extra nerdy folks can take notice of the specs. I know a lot of you guys might be a little more advanced, but for this video, I'm going to assume you don't know anything at all about in-ear monitors. That being said, some of these systems can be a little confusing for someone that doesn't know anything about them. However, this unit is basically plug and play. Now, just a few specs for those that might be interested. We're looking at 24-bit/48 kilohertz of digital transmission. UHF 900 megahertz and 30 milliwatts of power gives you 16 selectable channels with a range of 160 to 200 feet. And a battery life of about 7 hours with the rechargeable lithium battery. So let me show you how easy it is to set this up. We'll start with the receiver. It's also commonly referred to as the body pack. It's the part that connects to your belt. To charge the unit, just plug in the charging cable to the Type C charging port on the bottom. The charging cable happens to be a dual charging cable, so you can actually charge both units at the same time. So on your top left, you have your power and volume knob. Just turn that on. And of course, the green light lets us know that we have plenty of battery. If the light was red, that would indicate that the battery is low, similar to my skill set. And as you can see, we're currently on channel 9. To change that, just press the button up or down to get to the channel you want. Now let's go to the transmitter. Just like the receiver, to charge the unit, plug in the charging cable to the Type C charging port on the side. And as you can see, we're currently on channel 9. To change that, we just press the button up or down to get to the channel we want. So at the moment, our transmitter is on channel 9 and the receiver is on channel 4. So we just want to make sure that both of those are on the same channel. And as you can see, the blue light comes on to let us know that both units are now in sync. That's all there is to it. Now just plug the transmitter into your mixer. Now if you don't have an XLR input available on your mixer, then you can use the 1/4 inch to XLR adapter. Now just plug your transmitter into your mixer. Technically, you can stop right there. You're done. That's all there is to it. However, if you want to hear your mix in stereo, you'll have to do one more thing. Now remember that 3.5 to XLR adapter that came in your box? You're going to need that. This is an XLR balanced input jack. So when you plug this into your mixer, it's going to be in mono. If you want to hear your mix in stereo, just plug the 3.5 adapter into the 3.5 TRS input on the side of the transmitter. So instead of having a single mono input, you're now going to have a dedicated right side and a dedicated left side. Then plug the transmitter into the right side and the adapter cable into the left side. The fact that you can purchase a wireless in-ear monitor system in stereo at this price point is pretty impressive. Having the option to hear your mix in stereo is a big deal to a lot of people. In fact, for some, it's a deal breaker. Now, for someone like me, I'll likely never use the stereo feature. That has nothing to do with the Phenyx Pro system itself. I just happen to be extremely hard of hearing on my left side. As the old saying goes, I can't even hear myself fart. And that's also due to many years of not using hearing protection, combined with using super loud stage monitors. Back when I was young, we didn't have a budget-friendly option like this. You were looking at $1,000 for each unit. Which brings me to another point. A single transmitter can pair with multiple receivers, allowing you to share one transmitter. So let's say the guitar player, bass player, and keyboard player all need the same thing in their mix. Each one of them would need a receiver, however they can share one transmitter. But it could save you quite a bit of money, and that could really help, especially if you're just starting out. You can literally just take your receiver, take your transmitter, throw the whole thing in your stick bag, and you're good to go. I personally really like this kind of setup. Having a rack-mounted unit is great, and it certainly has its benefits. But if I'm just doing a fill-in show, I don't want to deal with the rack and all of that. I'd rather just hand the engineer the transmitter and ask him to plug it in. In fact, I usually go one step further. I just have the engineer give me the XLR cable from the mixing console, then I plug the transmitter into that. Then I just lay it on the drum riser. That's a quick tip for anyone in the band, not just a drummer. If you feel safer having the transmitter closer, then just plug it into a cable and set it wherever you want. So this system looks pretty nice, but does it work? Well, I've put together a super high-tech setup so we can figure this out. But we're going to have to head outside to my birdhouse. Now for this test, I'm just going to use my iPhone. My camera is set up inside, and I really don't want to have to readjust all the settings. I have another iPhone plugged into the transmitter with some music playing. So I'm just going to start walking toward my neighbor's gate, and we'll see how far I get before things start to cut out. It might not look like it, but that gate is actually about 300 feet away from me. And we're off! I didn't want to just give you guys a ballpark distance, so I actually measured it for you. And I managed to get 206 feet before the unit started to break up on me. I could still hear everything, but as soon as I heard it begin to break up, I stopped. Now I realize that's kind of the perfect setting. No interference, good line of sight, and so on. So some might say that's not a fair test. Perhaps you won't make it that far, or perhaps you'll make it further. I can't say. But I managed to make it 206 feet before it started to break up. So would I recommend it? Well, if you're planning on playing at Wembley Stadium next week, you might need something a bit stronger. Again, everyone has different needs. But with a retail price of $200, I think it's a great system. If I had to criticize anything, it might be the earbuds. And that's not even criticism. They're just not going to sound like $3,000 custom molds. That's all. However, I could easily make it through a show with them. They're small, however, they have a really nice shape to them. So they kind of fit inside my ears. At least they did for mine. So I don't really have to worry about them falling out. And that's the biggest concern for me. I'm a drummer. I'm not an audio guy. So when it comes to something like in-ears, I just want it to work. I don't want anything complicated with a million settings. I just want to plug it in and turn it up. And that's exactly what you're going to get. The manual is short and easy to understand, so I had everything set up in just a few minutes. And trust me, if I can do it, well, that's saying something. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I hope that helped in some small way. It's always good to have options. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed, well, I wouldn't bother. However, if you've enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like. It helps the channel. And for those interested in merchandise, please visit store.themaddrummer.com. And I'd like to thank Phenyx Pro for sponsoring the video. This was a pretty serious video for me. Thanks for watching. And that's also due to many years of not using any hearing protection, combined with super loud stage monitors. I just like giving you guys options. S with an S. Options. Speaking of price, my nose is itching. I know a lot of you guys might be a little more advanced. Advanced. Make your diction more better. The fact that you can purchase... Got a mouthful of socks today. UHF 900 megahertz and 30 milliwatts of power gives you 16 selectable channels with a range of 160 to 200 feet. That wasn't bad. The fact that you can purchase a wireless in-ear monitor system. In fact, I usually go one step further. I just have the engineer give me the XLR cable from the... I don't want anything complicated with a million settings. I just want to plug it in, turn it up, and turn it up. And, why am I blinking? And. Back when I was young, we didn't have any budget.